Hey you scallywags! It's been a while since we've had a look at toys in hand, so it's only fitting that Joytoy have sent a box of goodies for us to delve into. But before we have a look at this box of plastic crack...
Shut up and sit down.
Before we get to our regular coverage of 118, we have a couple of outliers in 1/12 scale. From Jada Toys, it's Capcom's Megaman. Although not 118 scale, this little fella only stands at about 4 inches tall, but is sheer hand candy, and kind of looks like candy with its clean paint apps. One minor detail easily overlooked is the attempt to remove the seam lines. Now, what company at any price point is trying to do that? Even with his single leg and arm joints, he poses brilliantly, and is a great little figure for a main collection, or just to maybe mess about with on your desk. Even if you're not the biggest fan, which I'm not. I watched Captain N, the Games Master, as a kid, and played some games, but that's about it really.
I'm afraid this isn't the same as your game, Captain N.
Speaking of games, this Marvel vs. Capcom inspired cable is larger than your normal 1/12 scale. Beautiful head sculpt here, the main reason I got this figure. And no, I don't collect Marvel Legends, just the odd figure here or there. Articulation is a bit dated for ML, but gets the job done. In all honesty, I would have preferred a more jacked up cable, well, more jacked up than he is here, with pouches and shoulder pads and all the 90s glorious stuff he had in the comics that Rob Liefeld gave him. But this will do for now. I really despise this boot cut articulation. It really breaks the mold and it's just not worth it. Anyhow, it's not as bad as it is on Spider-Man, and the rest of the figures quite good. So yeah, the 1/12 scale figures I very rarely get on the show here. Onto our beloved 118, and we have some Acid Rain. Big thank you to KOWKIS Toys. I got mine from KOWKIS Toys with my discount, 6% off and free shipping. It makes it cheaper than getting it from Peer Club. Just use my code SCALLYWAGSTV-KOWKIS for 6% off, link in the description. Imani is the latest named character released by Toys Alliance for their Acid Rain line, and is from the 88 Sand team. Here she is, all suited and booted, minus her alternate hood. Acid Rain, I love all the little details. This unique looking respirator I really like as well. But the main draw for me is her unhelmeted head. Well, just her head, because she doesn't have a helmeted head. So just this head without the respirator. As you can see here, this is probably my favourite head sculpt from Acid Rain now. Just look at her eyes and the delicate soft features. Plastic crack smell. Details on her hair are brilliant. All the tiny little bits there. This armor piece is from Shock Raider. It's a bit gappy on her due to her breasts, but it does allow for a butterfly joints there. But it actually works out, even though it's gappy here, so that the belt, which is actually free flowing, can move out of the way of the legs, so she can get better range. Unlike with Kelsey, where everything was kind of strapped down and limited. Works rather well for her. Surprisingly, was a bit thought the decision to do that was a bit awkward at first, but works out quite well for her. Nice little figure, and with all these details and play features, brilliant. Acid Rain in this 118 4-inch size. This is a custom and not actually a figure you can buy. You can buy the bits for it. So basically, it's a DLC for your figures. You get these bits for it. There's different options for the helmet. For there, I used this one, of course. I gave him the gun from the Yamato Gunner. It's a bit more heavy duty. I thought it'd suit this character. And I used the Field Vanguard figure as a base buck because of these shoulder pads. I like the way those looked. I didn't use the given body harness. Instead, I used this from Aegis, the extra one you get with Aegis. I thought that would work out well. I think it looks nice with this helmet and overall ensemble. Feet I got from Bob, so I swapped those out. Gave Bob smaller feet. And yeah, quite liked the way this turned out. I did have to carve out holes at the back here so that this can fit on flush nicely. But it was a small modification, it's easy to do for me. I don't like to do too much modification. But yeah, I think he looks great as my latest Bucks team recruit. Moving on. This next lot is Joytoy stuff I bought myself in the last few weeks or so. Maybe longer. This Iron Hands fella is Brother Bantus, I think. But it's not his name that's important. It's this very metal design. Maybe you're not into 40k, but you like some of the designs and want just one Space Marine for your collection. Well, Bantus has a black matte finish with a classic look. Throw in some cybernetic enhancements and you get a badass looking mofo. Uncle Shio on Instagram gave him a nice custom cybernetic leg, make him look even more badass. Go and check him out on Instagram. Sorry about that, fella. A bit heavy-handed there. Does have the old gappy knees. This is a 2.0 body, but the best of its kind. They are more improved now with the whatever 0.0 they're utilizing now with the new knees and height and everything, but this will do. Anyway, the redo Space Wolves Blade Guard is bigger than before, but next to the other reissued Space Wolves, about the same height. So yeah, it's not as beefy looking compared to this new guy. I like small heads, but this is a tiny helmeted head. So it looks even smaller on this beefy body. 1.0 shoulder pauldrons should be a bit bigger. This backpack can pop off if you're not careful. Compared to the first Blade Guard veterans, this does feel a lot sturdier, but the 1.0 pauldrons do feel small. New knees here, better, not gappy. This thing's soft. Things can pop off, like this thing, but just pop it back in like that. These bigger hands don't quite fit in the handle of the shield. See, it's kind of squished in there. The sheath there for the sword. These other details. There it goes again. This thing just popping off. Anyway, yeah, it does everything pretty well. Move around and stuff. Well, that's enough of you. I've got the older version of this figure, but customized it so it's unrecognizable. The previous one had shading, etc. This is a bit different to what we had before. Still 1.0 shoulder pauldrons with butterfly though. Smaller pauldrons than the newer pauldrons we're getting. So looks quite different. Kind of, I don't know, not as large looking in the upper half. Moves around the new knees, which is probably why it's bigger, I think, because there's a lot more plastic around the knee joint bits there. But this leg here seems to be, well, that's probably why it doesn't move. Let's try and get this back together. Put this on. And get his body back on. There. So yeah, there's some resistance with the left leg in particular. Just popped off. Just got to glue that back in. Not a good start. He has been alright for me up until now. This leg is just oh. So, we'll move on, shall we? Oh my god! We have a Termagant little Tyranid here. He's actually a pretty cool little figure. Quite like the open mouth thing here. You can change the tongue, like the way they've done this, the head movement and the neck. Kind of extend it for more range and have the mouth open further. And it can move around quite a bit on that double barbell joint and the neck joint as well there, giving it really good range. But let's take off this. Well, this connects nicely to that gun with the thumb going through the hole. This here has a nice movement with the bicep twist, but just be careful of this. These arms are quite delicate, the joints. This one here is hanging by a thread. So I would suggest heating up the joints. This one seems okay. It's just the joint that connects that elbow bit is quite delicate. Joytoy have done a great job with the torso articulation. You can squirm around like that. There's no thigh twist, but you can twist on the ball joint there. There's movement and twists on each of these leg joints. Oh, let's not forget about the tail. There's a single ball joint, but bendy tail, which is pretty good. You can actually use it to help stand him if you like. But really nice. So I've just got one of these at the moment. So I've got another on pre-order because they sold out. Got it on a good deal from AliExpress, but I do intend on getting more of these. I'd like a swarm of them to go against my Space Marines. But yeah, besides the dodgy joints, good stuff. And I present to you the Tyranid Warrior, who I like a lot more than I thought I would. The articulated jaw. You gotta love your articulated jaw. It does come with an additional alternate like tongue, you know, for the ladies, and arms here can move. I wish there was a bicep twist. It would make posing a lot easier, but you can still pull off a lot of different poses. This hand's supposed to be down this way, but you can move it upwards and just move these arms in all different directions. His head moves nicely. Double barbell, good range. Yeah, just love that articulated jaw. Torso articulation is similar to his little brother, but be careful of the lower part of the waist. It can dislodge, and you'll be able to see his innards from below. There is a thigh twist this time round, even though there's good movement around the ball joint for the hips. All movement here on the legs and twists and all that good stuff, so you can get him in some poses, dynamic poses and stuff. Tail movement, again, similar to his little brother with the bendy. So surprisingly, more fun to play about with this fella than the Termagant. So, yeah, it was a big surprise. I was not expecting that, but Joytoy did well with this one. Let's now take a look at what Joytoy sent in the post. Custodes Solar Watch shield guy thing here. Another guy with that, thing that they have. And then this banner guy with shield. So this color variant looks quite interesting. I'd like to see how these guys are. Probably similar to what we've got with the previous Custodes. But I'll look forward to opening these guys up. Next is Sternguard Veterans. This guy here. Sergeant guy. This guy with monocle and combi plasma. Looking rather spiffy. This guy with his heavy bolter. And finally, this guy, who I've opened up already. So out of all of them, I was going to pick this guy up anyway, simply for this new Mark 7 helmet that Joytoy have done. I think this turned out better than the exclusive helmets they released a while back, looking more like the helmet from Astartes, which I love. Also, they've listened. They've got this gripping hand specifically for gripping your guns, which they didn't have before, which I really appreciate, because now they can hold their guns well. And altogether, beefier look, larger shoulder pauldrons. Issue is this articulation here. I think they've used the same body from Blade Guard Veterans. A bit stiff here. Wish this front skirting were a bit softer, but other than that, he's got all the articulation we've come to know from the Space Marines. Knees, new knees here. Again, just brilliant the fact that they've got this specific gripping hand now for rifles, so we can hold it like he means it, instead of having to sacrifice one of your gripping hands for the swords. This one here specific for these weapons. I'll be checking out the others at some point soon in a video. Oh, he's got a lightsaber there too. So look out for that in the near future. Sons of Horus Mark IV Tactical Squad. This guy with his bolter. The sergeant with his power fist, looking quite Roman. This guy with his Vexilla thingy, whatever, Legion Vexilla. And this guy with his Flyima. So we'll check these guys out in another video. More from the Sons of Horus, Beaky Boys, and Sergeant with Power Sword. This guy with his Nuxio something. This guy with his Legion Vexilla. And finally this guy, who I've opened up already. So I was really curious about these guys. I wanted to check one of them out. Loving the beaky look. This gripping hand here for the gun isn't as good as on the Sternguard Veterans, but does the job. And the look is actually a lot better in person. I really like the movement. The torso here works very nicely. Very smooth. My left leg here does clash a bit. I think there's a bit of a problem. They have to free up that joint a bit. This one's not so bad. But yeah, this one here, I'll have to heat up or something. Yeah, there you go. Bit limited. Knees here. The new knees. Yeah, altogether very plain looking, but it really works, especially in person. When I seen the promo pics, I wasn't that impressed, but you know, it just hits those nostalgia nerves. And in hand, works a lot better than I thought it would. looking forward to opening up the rest of the Sons of Horus. So look out for videos on both teams on the channel. Hopefully soon. Infinity time with Ariadna Blackjacks. This huge guy here. And another in a different colour and variations on weapons. Finally, this guy who's opened up already from Nomads. So I actually had this Gecko Squadron guy and the other on my wish list. This head thing is interesting how it works. Almost like a snake kind of head. Yeah, very nice looking figure. Huge. Bulky. These guns we've seen with the other Nomads, the smaller ones. Other weapons. These arms are actually like these humanoid arms, but yeah, they kind of get in the way. So I've kind of folded them back to get out of the way instead of removing. I was going to remove them, but I think that works out quite well. The torso, I've had an issue here actually. So that part, the ball joint, is actually glued, and I've tried to unglue it, but can't seem to get it unglued. This bit here moves around, but yeah, still trying to work out a way to unglue that, and then I can fix this all up together again and get the articulation working on the torso. Otherwise, everything else works really nicely, very smooth. This foot at the bottom, the left one had an issue, but it seems alright at the moment. But very nice articulation for the arms, pauldrons, etc. This backpack does pop off quite a bit if you're not careful, so just be aware of that. Case in point, despite the QC issues, really enjoying this guy. I really love this beefy look. The Pano version was really good. One of my faves from last year. This is no different. It's got 2 of these guns as well as another, and I'm definitely going to grab the other guy from the other faction that was released about the same time as this guy. He's so cool. Yeah, definitely check this out if you are interested. Size wise, you'll see I'll just grab a TVC figure. Look how big he is compared to this little guy. Really intimidating against your normal 1/18 scale figures. So that's it for now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Which of these is your favorite, and what would you like to see videos on? I'll try and work on those as soon as I can. Otherwise, check out my affiliate links in the description. Get money off of Joytoy products, and it helps out the channel. Thanks to Joytoy, shout out to Awesome Action Toys. If you like this video, click the thumbs up. For more content, subscribe, and I'll scale you later.